Wow.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, because it only has, whatever.
Across the
Yeah, 4
yeah.
spots. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How long ago did it go back to zero?
Pretty close. It's like 9989 or something around there. So it's I'm hoping it becomes new when that happens.
Yeah, I got you. There's Jenna and there's Ben.
Hey, everyone.
I'm just waiting for Craig.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Just waiting for Craig.
All right.
We'll give him another minute or two. If not, we'll begin because we have a quorum.
I started the recording and the streaming, so
Yes.
just so you're aware.
Everybody got that?
Nothing silly.
Yep.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty well. Adjusting to doing everything in the dark again.
Nice.
Must be really fun for you, Chris.
What's that?
Must be really fun for you.
Yeah.
Brutal.
No kidding.
Hi, Jenna.
Hi. How are you?
It's the bald guy.
We'll tell you what, we'll start the meeting here and Craig doesn't, see if Craig comes on, okay? Call the meeting to order. First of all, I would like to welcome Jenna. I'm George. Do you know Ben?
Good.
Hey, Jenna.
Hi, Ben.
Ben, you know Christopher?
Yep.
Hi, Jeff.
Okay.
Hi.
You know Tony?
By student council meetings only. Hi.
Okay. And how about, is Joe on?
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
I am.
Hey, Joe. So,
Hi,
here's-
Joe.
so this is, do you know Joe? Have you met him before, Jenna?
Nope.
Okay, he's the finance guy now. He took over Mary Jane Harrington's.
Oh, great.
Okay. So I don't know, Ben, have you met him yet?
No, I haven't.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's Joe.
Hey,
Joe.
Tony.
Only Tony and I know each other. Everybody else is a stranger.
Yeah, everybody else is a stranger. Okay.
Feel
George,
free, I'm sorry. Feel
Yeah.
free to drop in and meet up with Joe sometime and myself, Jenna, if there's any questions.
Sure thing.
That goes to all of you, that is, but
Thank you, Tony.
George, what I want you to do is read off the names of all of your board members so that the record is reflected who was actually in attendance.
Okay. Christopher Goulart, Jenna Magnuski, Ben Gauthier, and George Kroll. And absent right now is Craig Curtis.
Thank you.
Okay. So everybody has met everybody. I would like to vote on our chairperson for this year. We're getting a little bit of a late start here. I wanted to wait until after the election. I know things are not finalized here with the council or everything is not set yet. Carol,
Yes.
I have a question for you. When do you think the council will be certified?
The Board of Elections has told me that they will certify November 30th. So at the council meeting of December 3rd, we will do a swearing in ceremony.
Okay. Swearing in. Perfect. I had a conversation with Christopher Goulart, probably, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, Chris?
Yeah.
Saying that because with the new finance person, Joe, I would like to stay on as chair this year. And at the same time, I'd asked Chris to stay on as clerk. And I would entertain a motion for chair.
I would like to move George for chair of the budget committee. This is Ben Gauthier for the record. And I also agree that I think the continuity at this point in time, especially with all of the other things that are going on with the pandemic and, giving Tony a steady hand to assist, I think that would be a really good thing for the town.
Thank you very much. Is
Thank
there
you.
a second?
Second.
Very good. Thank you, Jenna. Are there any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of myself, George Kroll, becoming chair, say aye.
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 Opposed? Let the vote record that all four of us voted for it, Carol,
Yes, thank you.
okay? And now clerk. As I said before, I would like to put Christopher Goulart's name in for clerk. He's done a great job in the past, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, George.
Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, is there any other discussion? All in favor of Chris Goulart for clerk, say aye.
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 Okay, let it be known that all four of us voted aye. Now, thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
The next thing on the budget, on our budget, is a general budget discussion. I had asked Tony and Joe to chime in today. Where we are, I will say that the other day when I came out of, I was over at Town Hall and I saw Tony, and I've talked to Tony since. I think at least a few of you know that a couple of years ago, Craig Curtis said to us, hey, why don't we get a bond issue and just fix all the damn town roads? You know, what do we have, 18 miles of roads, Tony?
20,
20 miles of roads.
2020.
20 and 20 for the state too, okay. So, and he had said, money's cheap, let's get a bond issue. The only bond issue we have right now is the school. That's the last of it as far as I know. And so I know Tony's got something going on as a report on companies going through and looked at all our roads, right?
That is correct. If I may?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have Beta Engineering, BETA, it's Beta Engineering Group. And they are very familiar with the process, and the town hired them to do a full study of all 20 miles of roads that we have. And they actually almost completed. They will be providing a full report. Actually, we are meeting with them this Thursday for them to provide a final report to Bill Moore, Bob, and I to review it and then make a full presentation to the town council. That includes paving, restoration of some of the roads altogether. At this point, the number that I'm looking at is 1.5 million, to do all of the roads. But that's if we did it all at once.
Right.
What they're doing is they are working a steady process that we can actually do this in either a 5 or 10 year process.
Right.
So they will be providing their information, making those presentations so that we can actually wean the whole process through.
Okay, thank you. I think the budget committee last year, I believe, that we discussed some kind of a bond issue, possibly fixing the town hall, all the things they needed to do. We needed to do and throw everything together. Remember, Ben?
Yeah, I think having things that are maintenance issues that are going to be, something that you can deal with, directly, and it's going to forego, a lot of other maintenance. Like if we have water intrusion in town hall, if we have, issues with windows that then lead into reconstruction of walls, it gets very expensive. So that made a lot of sense to us. I think I was very much against the notion of doing all the roads at once, because I'd be worried that we'd be setting up a business cycle in the town where, okay, if the road goes for 10 years or whatever the life of a reconstructed road is, 15 years, we're going to be setting up, essentially our own little business cycle where we have a whole bunch of roads that are coming to maturity at the same time. So the option that Tony just talked about of, can we roll this into a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan? If that doesn't dramatically escalate costs, then I think that would be a much better way for the town to go. So we don't have these, big lumps in the distribution. Because I think the one thing we can do right now is not ripple the tax base
Right.
the way the town is managed. And I'd just be afraid of setting up a recurring expense that ripples the tax base or causes for another bond.
suppose we took that money and put it in capital. Took so much money a year and put it in capital, so we'd be ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an issue that, I think we need to come through together, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Tony did a lot of work last year working with the departments, and the capital plan, was something that we came to late. But I think developing a variety of models for how to pay for these different things in a way that we can keep expenses level, predictable, I think is the way to go.
I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If I may,
Yep.
I agree totally with what Ben proposed, and I know we had that conversation. I know he was willing to advocate for that last year and work, hand in hand. That's how Joe is going to be very helpful this year, because someone who has a background in financing would be able to actually break things down and go through different options, and obviously the three options will be private financing, infrastructure, bank, or the other one would be to do some bonding. But once I can gather the numbers for all the projects, then it's easier for us to look at and say, okay, here's how we can dedicate that, and also how we can go about financing and create the least impact in the tax rate.
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Tony, do you see it like if we bid, a large volume of work versus bid a small volume of work, has it been your experience that the pricing is better if we, do things in a big lump, or for the way you would structure it, we probably wouldn't see a big difference in pricing for a given job?
Well, are you talking about the roads in particular?
Yeah.
Or just, yes. No, it makes sense. In fact, that's one of the things that they're doing. They actually are giving us the GIS accessibility, where we can actually group the work that needs to be done by neighborhoods, and we move along, because as you know, to deploy all the equipment from one area to another, it becomes quite costly. One of the most recent projects we had, I think it was the drainage that we just completed. It was $3,000 just to mobilize the equipment here to Little Compton. So with that being said, we have to think wisely as we pull these, the road programs together. We cannot afford, well, let's do a little piece here, let's go across town and do another piece over there. But what they providing to us, and obviously I will make that available to you as well. If you look at the overview on the map itself, it's great. You can actually picture how things can be coordinated, to avoid, those, the heights and the costs, of deployment.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess, because the rule of thumb, used to be about $100,000 a mile of road was
Mhm.
kind of our rolling average in town. Some was reconstruction and some we got away cheaper. So if you can get 20 miles for, 150, then we're doing, for $1.5 million, we're doing better. But
Mhm.
I think it's still up to the, somehow the town has to prioritize, which roads we should address. And then I think if we model the impact on the tax base for different kind of bond structures over time, I think that's the best we can do to advise the council.
I agree. I also think we need to talk to the state about what we might do. Because the
Right.
state, there are a lot of roads down here that need help too.
Yes.
Working on that one too, believe it or not. Yes,
Anything else on that? Joe, you want to say anything? You have the money, Joe? Can you write a check?
Yeah, not yet. Not for that kind of money. Not for 100K per mile. But I've just started to look over the budget with Tony. I'm just getting my feet wet. So this is my second week taking over.
Yep.
So I am looking forward to seeing what the financing options will be, what the final figures will be as far as, what they see as projections. I would like to take a look at the GIS that Tony was talking about and kind of see that high-end view. And just see if we can visualize everything moving in a way that doesn't, A, create bottlenecks within the town, and B, also, doesn't become an overbearing burden on the taxpayers at any point. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more and getting involved in it.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Moving along, I put down on our agenda compensation for Carol Wardell, because Carol sets up all these Zoom meetings as she did at the town meeting. I talked to Carol earlier, and she thinks these Zoom meetings are going to go on for quite a while.
Mhm.
Quite a while. And I had a conversation with Tony today. Hi, Tony.
We've had quite a few conversations.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. Yes, we've had a lot of conversations. So we'd like to bring everybody up to snuff as to where we are with what you were going to do with other boards and commissions.
Yes, the intent here, and you've stated correctly, Zoom is going to go on, and I doubt that it's going to go away, believe it or not, because it's a matter of accessibility for a lot of the folks that can't leave their houses.
Mhm.
And streaming was one of the discussions early on. So here we are, whether we like it or not, it has happened. It has forced our hand to do it. With that in mind, obviously, Carol has been very, not going to say generous, but yes, in a way, okay, but she deserves her due. And one of the things is I had that conversation with her right across the board with all of the boards and commissions. And we came up with the amount that she should be compensated $30 an hour, for any time after the work hours. And so I need the permission from your board, from your the committee to actually just go forward and generate a pay voucher to, compensate Carol. And that's going to be true with any other board or commissions that she provides the service for.
Okay, thank you.
Is that really our job, or is that, I mean, do we actually have a say in that? I mean, we don't have a, I mean, I'm fully supportive of paying Carol for every extracurricular minute she works, which has been incredible this year. And I don't see an end of it, but we don't have a good bead on how we're doing in execution now, towards the original FY budget. Is this something in our charter to be voting on?
We haven't spent a dime yet in this year's. Everything was paid for last year, and I don't know exactly what our balance is.
Yep.
From last
Are
year.
you saying that's a transfer from our, to help us operate, or?
Last year, yeah, well, a regular budget to do the budget, we had $5,500.
Right.
And I think, looking at $30 an hour, I was trying to go out a ways and see how long it would be. I think we have plenty of money to pay Carol $30 an hour.
But we're talking about for every town meeting, right?
Every meeting, every meeting.
Yeah, okay, great. No,
Yeah,
if we can do that as a transfer from our operating budget and we can print at the end of the year, I think that would be awesome.
The other thing is, but Tony, you're gonna go after all the other boards, right?
That's correct. And to Ben's point, very well taken. As you know, we didn't know this was going to come up on us in March, until March, I should say. So with that being said, we'll do is draw, once I get permission from the various boards and commissions, but then I will provide you a report back as to what the cost, has been, so you can keep a track of what the expense is for the meetings. So it's not like, okay, Tony's going to do a thing. No, as long as you authorize for me to go ahead and do that, then I just draw from your account. Now, comes to the end of the year for budget time, and we need to assess this, okay? What is the cost and how do we need to budget going forward, to accommodate for these costs?
I think our only cost for this committee is printing at the end of the year, right? We print the budget committee report, and that's a very easily projected number. And so every other dime should go to supporting the, current operating expenses of the town in the new model. And so that means people get paid. It's not a volunteer position after, 5 o'clock. So, I would be all for doing that and then figuring out, do we have a problem at the end of the year when that's the beauty of being in the position you're in. You can, move funds around that are clearly, available, and our money is all available until we print.
I will find out, Ben. I just had discussion. I didn't have a vote on our agenda. Okay. So we'll vote at our next meeting on
Yeah.
that. on
Yeah,
this.
I mean, I think it's
Find out in the
an
meantime.
absolutely critical thing that people get paid for what they're doing for the town.
Absolutely. But we also, I have to find out exactly what, I will find out what our balance is and where we are. And I want to know from last year, how much the school paid, because Carol did send them a bill for their portion of the budget committee report. And they paid it. So I want to see how much we had left over after that. And I will have that for our next meeting. Okay?
Just out of curiosity,
Yes.
how much extracurricular time is Carol spending per week? Like, if full-time equivalent wise, how much is this, like a job and a half at this point? What is it?
No, well, no, for just, well, she does a Zoom. She does
Yeah.
Zooms for all the boards.
Yeah.
All the boards, the council, everybody. And, right, Carol?
Yes, George, I can answer that. I have a spreadsheet where I've been keeping track of the hours. For all of the extra Zoom meetings since April, I have done over 100 hours.
Okay,
For
Okay.
budget committee, before tonight's meeting, you only had 2 hours for your committee.
right.
So all of those hours are spread out amongst all of the other boards and commissions.
Okay.
And if I may, we need to be cognizant that if Carol didn't do it, then we would have to put out something, go out and search,
Oh, yeah.
hire somebody from outside.
Right.
And I mean, Carol's obviously willing to do it, and she was doing on the blank, and I think she deserves the compensation, very rightfully.
Oh,
so.
absolutely.
And with that being said, it's either hire somebody else or have someone who has full knowledge of the operation of the town and facilitates things much easier.
Yeah, but doing Zoom to keep this running, you need, sophistication and expertise. You don't hire a new person to do that.
Right.
This is the way it has to happen.
I agree.
Yep.
I
Thank you.
I think so. Our next meeting, we'll vote on that compensation. Any more discussion on that?
Yeah, just real quick question. So the vote, is that just for, compensation for our board? I mean, do we vote for compensation for all the boards or just
No,
us?
just us.
Okay.
Just us. Tony's gonna bill all the other boards. Right, Tony?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
I'll have those numbers for you at our next meeting. How much money we spent and what the school paid and where we are. I think we'll be just fine though. Moving on.
George,
Yep.
can I ask that the record show that I did not converse about the rate of pay because I'm an elected official and I cannot have any input on that. So I want to make sure that the record.
I agree. No, you didn't have any input on it at all, the rate of pay. You're right.
It was the administrator.
The administrator and the budget committee talked about it. Okay, thank you. Ben,
Sir.
sir. Don't say-
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman.
So Ben put his name in for the Harbor Advisory. Board.
Right. Yeah, so
He was appointed.
I was appointed, right? And so, I mean, the harbor means a lot to me. And so I was appointed to the Harbor Commission, and then Solicitor Humphrey said, hey, you're an elected official and now you're an appointed official. Ask the state, ethics board for an advisory opinion on, can you really do that? So I wrote them a letter. I tried to take all of the language I could find in the town code and the charter on the operation of the budget committee, the roles of the budget committee, the fact that we're unpaid volunteers,
Right.
the roles of the Harbor Commission, and what the seam is between the two. And to me, the only seam that exists is we make the recommendation every year that the user fees that get collected by the town, by harbor users, get transferred to the Harbor Management Fund every year. It's just a perfunctory recommendation that we make. And so I wrote all this up, sent my letter to the Ethics Commission, copy Solicitor Humphrey, Carol. I got a note back immediately saying, hey, thanks for all the homework. It's being looked at. I got a call today from an attorney who's drafting a draft opinion. And she said, hey, I am doing, my own independent research as well on top of what you've given me. I'm not seeing an issue in this particular case. I will write a draft opinion. You'll see my draft opinion. It'll get posted for the Essex Commission to meet, and we will invite you to that meeting
Good.
if they have any questions for you. So that was going to be on Tuesday next week. They just canceled that meeting, and so now it's postponed till December 9th.
Okay.
So in the long term, I see myself, being happier and I think able to contribute more to the Harbor Commission. I'd like to complete this term if it's okay with the ethics advice I get back.
Mhm.
But
Be
I'm
great.
kind of struggling right now because, we had, pretty much every candidate for town council said, they're all about keeping taxes low. And
Right.
so, do I wait till May and say I'm not going to run again? Do I, vacate the position now? And, hopefully there's an enthusiastic person. I mean, seeing young people come on budget committee is to me a very heartening thing,
I
right?
agree.
Because it's usually those of us with this phenomenal hair that, care about low taxes and care about, helping the council and administrator run the town. So I'm kind of torn on what's the right thing to do right now for the town. I know in the long term, I'm probably not gonna run again because I think what we're actually doing. I mean, I think Jen McHugh made a pretty good statement at the end of last year why she was done, and I'm kind of on the same opinion. So I'm kind of torn on what's the right thing to do now. I mean, do we put out feelers? Does someone want to join the committee? If we had someone that was enthused in doing the good work of the committee, then I would gladly vacate the seat. If the seat's going to just be empty, if you guys think I'm a help to you, then
You
I'll
are-
stay till the end of May. So
You are a help. You are a help to us. Carol,
Yes.
can I ask you a question?
Or
Last year, okay, who just ran? Who ran this year? Jenna's new and Christopher Goulart ran again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they both got on. The year before I ran and was it with Craig Curtis? Or was
And
it-
me.
And you.
Yeah.
Right, so the three of us, the
Right.
three of us. So do we have to go back farther than that, Carol?
well, what happens is if you go back to those elections and there were no other candidates, then it falls to the town council to make an appointment.
Right.
I don't believe there were any other candidates.
There weren't. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it would fall to the council. And if anybody knows anybody, I mean, Ben, we'd love to have you stay.
Okay.
Love to have you stay. But I mean, if you know somebody else that,
I don't, but I thought, there were a lot of, very motivated people running for council and everyone was talking about, this issue. So if someone, wants to join, I'd step aside now. And if no one wants to join, then I'll stay with you till May.
okay, that'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
What?
I would encourage that he stays since he's already have knowledge of the budget process.
Great.
And he knows what path we're trying to follow, especially if we're going to do some financing and all of that. So he's a good advocate and also institutional knowledge. So I would ask, but that's just me.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Right.
The administrator wants me institutionalized. You heard it.
I love it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you, Tony.
No.
Okay, anybody in the public here? It's not on a board or commission, no. How are Tuesday nights? Jenna, we've met on Tuesday nights for just about ever. And
Yeah, Tuesday nights are usually okay.
is it pretty good with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, that's good for me.
Okay, so you won't have a, let's see here. I'm
Bob
looking
in.
at, what?
Ben? Oh,
You
I'm
don't care.
sorry.
You don't care. How's, so Ben, you might have something. Right now, they're saying the 9th.
The 9th.
Right.
Right. I think that's also that's the morning. That'll probably be 9 o'clock in the morning. And I think Harbor Commission is actually December 9th as well.
Yeah, okay, okay. You want to do something the 15th? Have a budget committee meeting on the 15th?
Sure.
Does that sound good to everybody?
Hmm.
Yep.
Do that. Carol,
Yeah, let me check my calendar.
That's just what I'm gonna ask you.
Gotta pull my calendar up. You said the 15th?
15th. Jenna, there are two calendars. There's one up in the council chambers and the real one is down in Carol's office.
That's open. We're good.
Okay, what time is everybody's pleasure? On the 15th. What's your pleasure? 6, 6:37?
7 is easier for me,
Okay,
just because it's after we put my son down, but if 6 is easier, I for everybody else, I can do that too, but
I don't have a preference.
Seven's fine.
My kids go to bed at 7 too, so
7
is
okay?
nice.
7 o'clock, okay, Ben?
Yep.
7 o'clock, okay. Then so our next meeting will be on the December 15th at 7,
All right.
okay? In the meantime, I will get those numbers as to what's left in our line item. And by then, Tony will have some numbers on roads. And hey, Tony, can I ask you one more question? Town hall. Town hall, do you have numbers to do the whole town hall, what has to be done?
I have for the outside of for the envelope of the building, to do painting, woodwork, restoration of the foundation, gutters, you're looking at 600,000. That's just for the envelope of the building, not talking about the chambers, the town council chambers, the interior work.
What happens when you start talking about that?
If I was to take a guess at that, you're looking at a good 300 and change.
Okay. Okay.
So Tony, with everyone like me working on, fixing up their house now because we're stuck at home, is it harder to get responses to an RFP for this kind of work? Or do you think you should get good competition?
We should be able to, because all the other work all the other RFPs that we put out, we've gotten pretty decent responses, so I'm sure people will step up.
Good.
Good. Okay, anybody else have anything else?
yeah, George, I have a couple of sets of minutes for our next meeting
Yes.
too. In addition to this one, we got to do
We'll do them all the next time.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Christopher.
Carol, I tried to look for the most recent budget, the booklet that gets sent out, and it doesn't look like it's on the website. So I was trying to be good and do my homework before this meeting. I was wondering if either you had it or if somebody on the committee could send it to me so I could, have some baseline knowledge.
I have several.
Okay, great.
I have several budget reports. I will drop them at the Historical Society. Is that okay?
That sounds good. Thank you.
That's an e-document too that could just get mailed around, would probably be good.
I can send it out electronically as well.
Okay.
Um,
Now, let's see. We have Jenna's email address. Do we have your phone number, Jenna?
Yeah, I think Carol does. Yeah.
Okay. As long as Carol does. That's good.
Mr. Chairman, just very quickly to Jenna, if you wish to stop by anytime and just get caught up on anything, feel free to do so. Just give me a call probably, just to be sure there's not a conflict with the meeting.
All right. Sounds good.
And Jenna, generally, John McNamee, the business manager for the school, is in Tony's office every Wednesday,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yes,
They share-
we share the office. We've survived for 2 years, going to be 2 years right now, December 8th.
They haven't killed each other, so that's good.
Question, what's the right mechanism to be reviewing minutes? Because, we could save time in online if they're like, is it okay with open meetings law to have Chris send the minutes around and we can just, when we open up to that, we can just say, hey, I have an issue with this or that, and then we're done with it?
I believe so, right, Carol?
Yes, he can send them out to you electronically. Just hold your discussion until your meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no discussion. And Jenna, are you familiar with the open meetings laws?
Somewhat because of the school committees that I'm on, but not
Okay.
in depth.
Okay, so I mean, two of us can talk, three of us can't. That's what it comes down to on our team.
Okay.
That's it. And we also, if I put something out there, if I say something, don't hit reply all.
Okay.
We can't do it that way.
All right.
And that's it. Usually, well, I don't know what's gonna happen this year. Every year, the state puts on an open meetings conference. So you know the ins and outs of that.
All right.
Again, welcome. That's all I have right now. I thank you very much, everybody. And I will get an agenda out to Chris and all of you within the next 2 weeks. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Ben, if you hear anything, let us know.
Okay, I move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Thank you.
Good night.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Hi,
Bye.
guys. Good night.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Carol.
stay